We have been examining the question, can an evangelical Christian vote for a Mormon to become president? I want to continue on from education now to look at Romney's view concerning same-sex marriage. Romney, in an interview with the National Review in 2006, stated the following: "Like the vast majority of Americans, I've opposed same-sex marriage. But I've also opposed unjust discrimination against anyone for racial or religious reasons, or for sexual preferences. Americans are a tolerant, generous, and kind people. We all oppose bigotry and disparagement. But the debate over same-sex marriage is not a debate over tolerance. It is a debate about the purpose of the institution of marriage, and it is a debate about activist judges who make up the law rather than interpret the law." Unquote. Romney says that marriage should be between a man and a woman only. Romney stated further in this National Review interview, and again I quote, "I agree with 3,000 years of recorded history. I believe marriage is a sacred institution between a man and a woman. And I have been rock solid in my support of traditional marriage. Marriage is, first and foremost, about nurturing and developing children. It's unfortunate that those who choose to defend the institution of marriage are often demonized." Unquote. Romney also supports a constitutional amendment that would define marriage as being between a man and a woman. One man, one woman. Romney stated before the United States Senate Judiciary Committee that, and again I quote him, "I join with those who support a federal constitutional amendment. Massachusetts has a law that attempts to restrain this infringement by restricting marriages of out-of-state couples to those where no impediment to marry exists in their home state. Even with this law, valid same-sex marriages will migrate to other states. For each state to preserve its own power in relationship to marriage, a federal amendment to define marriage is necessary." During the presidential debate in 2007, Romney stated this in the Florida debate, quote, "The status of marriage, if it's allowed among the same-sex individuals in one state, is going to spread to the entire nation. And that's why it's important to have a national standard for marriage. And I'm committed to making sure that we reinforce the institution of marriage in this country by insisting that all states have a right to have marriage as defined as between a man and a woman. And we do not have unelected judges saying we're going to impose same-sex marriage where it was clearly not in their state constitution." Unquote. Romney says every child deserves a father and a mother. And in order to fulfill what God has created in his institution of marriage, it requires one man, one woman. I find myself in agreement with Romney on this position. I think it is a just way of government that he recognized this long-standing institution that is given by God to man, beginning in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. A law that has continued and a practice that has continued up to this day. We need to remove activist judges, and we need to force them constitutionally to not try to impose their will upon the people where their state constitutions have forbidden same-sex marriages.